This week on the show, what would most likely become president? Tips and tricks. We'll control stuff with our eyes.
We'll talk about the Windows Creators Update.
Oh, yeah, and no big deal, but we've got the Graeme Boyd here in studio, and he's going to talk to us about some tips for Forza 7.
All this and more on this week's Tips and Tricks. I'm Ethan Rothamel.
And I'm Malik Prince.
This is the show that helps you get the most out of your Xbox, Windows, and Mixer experience.
Nailed
I gotta
it.
say,
2 weeks in a row.
Thank you.
I didn't mention it last week. Ethan always has
that.
a historically tough time saying that.
I don't know why. It's a sentence. But
cool.
I like that you flaunted the shirt.
Yeah,
that was
of
nice.
course. We got
was nice.
Forza 7. We have Graeme Boyd, AC Bongos on.
I know.
Gotta come prepared, of course.
Yeah, great. That's why I wore my racing jacket.
Yes.
Because I don't think anyone's worn these in, I don't know, how many years? Anyone? 10 years?
Who knows?
15, 20?
But that's right. We'll give you tips on the latest features and tricks on tackling the newest games.
We're going to jump straight into this with tips for Forza 7. I think we got to welcome a guest, but you're very excited to have him on.
Yeah, super excited to have him on. Didn't say this, so I didn't want to tell him because I didn't want him to be embarrassed. But
Okay.
he's like surprised. He can't say, well, he's right there, but I didn't want to tell him this before the show. Hold on. He actually, so this was the first time that I worked E3 this past year, and it was a huge honor as a big Xbox fan. And I was super nervous. I'm always nervous. I'm nervous for the show.
Constantly nervous.
No offense to this show, but this is no E3, right? But yeah, I actually got to speak to him a few times at E3, and it went a long way making me feel not nervous.
Oh, that's great,
So,
man.
That's my
I'm
story.
happy
It
for
wasn't
you.
a great story, but
You
I wanted
did
to make sure.
You did that to me, by the way.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Welcome,
right.
Graeme.
All right, here
Come
we go. AC
on.
Bongos. Everybody give it up.
I have to touch it.
Look at this.
Dry my eyes after that, so
Oh my
come
God.
on.
Bring it in. Bring it in.
That's very nice.
I'm just going to...
Honestly, though,
Good seeing you, bud.
Thank you. I'll take the handshake. Hey, everyone.
there
How's
he
it
is.
going?
The most famous
Hey.
thing that happened to our show ever.
Ever.
Oh, don't be like
In
that.
all 19
Come on.
episodes.
Behave yourself. This is nice. This is an absolute pleasure for me. You know, I'm living over here now. I've been about 5 weeks in country.
How's that been?
And this has been my ambition. I was
Yeah.
like,
Be on
I am
the show.
To be
moving.
on this show.
I'm moving 6,000 miles with my family so I can be on tips and
That
tricks.
is-
That
And here it is. I've climbed every mountain.
Can't be true. Far too kind.
What did I do
and also
next?
a lie.
Nice. You could try Rainier. There's anything is better than this, but we appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Not at all. No, this is a total pleasure. This is great.
All right.
So where are we getting started then?
Well, I'm not good at Forza. I'm a
Okay.
big fan of the Horizons. When it comes to the motorsports, I'm just okay.
And I'm just terrible. So,
I feel like we needed an expert.
so we brought in an expert, of course, that being yourself, with the Forza 7 shirt and everything.
Yeah, Sounders, my new team.
Of course, repping Seattle.
That's it.
Yes.
Well, I've got good news for you, right?
All right.
All right.
Because I know you've been on Twitter all day saying how nervous you are about
you saw
getting
it.
better at Forza.
Yeah.
You don't need to be nervous about this.
Okay.
This does not need to be intimidating, okay?
All
Forza Motorsport 7 is an amazing game because it's an incredible simulation of racing and driving and motorsports, but it's entirely customizable as well, right? You can start with the easiest drive in the whole world, and then you can go right up to basically a real professional race driving experience, right? But that journey in between doesn't need to phase you. And I'm going to show everyone at home and you guys as well exactly how to do it, right? Now, I'm going to give you a guarantee here, right? I did this on Twitter earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
I
hear
got told to clarify my guarantee, right? But I guarantee if you listen to the 7 tips I've got for you today at home, I'm going to shave you at least 5 seconds off your lap times in Forza. Potentially up to 10 seconds.
Oh.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a
10.
money back. It's not a money back guarantee.
Thank you,
I've
thank
just
you.
been told it's not a money back guarantee, but I'm going to guarantee I'm going to save you that time, right?
Awesome.
I do also want to clarify that these are tips for beginner
Yeah.
to intermediate players. Okay, right? So if you're at home, if you're a professional Forza player, if you've been playing this game for years and years and years at the very top levels, if you're always top of the leaderboards, these tips maybe aren't for you. However, if you're a beginner like you guys,
Yeah.
or intermediate like me,
Yeah.
I don't claim to be like, top tier Forza player. These tips are definitely going to help you out,
Awesome.
right? But if you are like a top tier Forza player at home, you're watching, we'd love to hear about your tips and the things that have helped you in your Forza career. And you can give us your feedback on the tips that I'm going to give, but we'd love to hear all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm
Okay,
excited.
so we get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
With tip number 1. Right, so tip number 1 is to customize Forza, right? Everything in Forza is customizable. We talked about this already, right? From your driver gear, to your car paints, to the assists, absolutely everything. So you can really make this game completely your own, right? And this is what I want to point out the whole way through. Make Forza the game that you feel comfortable with, right? But the key thing is then to stretch yourself, because the more you stretch yourself and challenge yourself, the faster your lap times are going to be. And yeah, you know, there'll be a little bit of pain getting there. But the main thing to do that is actually to play around with the assists. So I think we just had the assist menu on screen there as well, right? So when you start off Forza Motorsport 7, a lot of the default assists are already on, right? So there's two sets of assists. There's the artificial assists, which are kind of built into the game to make it easier for you as a new player. So that's things like assisted steering. So the game will actually ease you into corners, and it'll control your steering for you, so you don't like.
I feel like I had that on by accident once and was like, I can't be this good at this game.
Well, in all seriousness, like on the demo, that's all on as default. And if you go and play at E3, it's all on as default. So you see a lot of people playing it thinking, this feels a little bit strange. It's like the game's driving for me, right? You need to knock all that stuff off. Or get that stuff off straight away. You don't need any of those artificial assists. Artificial braking's the other one, right? The game will brake for you.
Right, I did notice that.
We don't need that, right? Now, if we're going to talk about braking in a bit more detail later, right? But so we've talked about the artificial assists. You also then have the, I guess, like the simulation assists, or the like in driving terms, the real assists. So things like ABS, right? Anti-lock braking, traction control system, and stability management as well, right? Those are things that are built into actual cars nowadays, right? And you can leave them turned on in Forza, or you can turn them off. If you leave them on, your ride's going to be more stable, right? Your stopping's going to be more controlled, your car's going to be more stable, but it bleeds time off your lap times. Because actually, your car has a series of, you know, mechanics and electronics that are kicking in to keep it under control. But actually, motorsports is actually about going to the edge of control, right? So you need to start thinking about knocking those assists off, and that will make your car faster. It will make it harder to control.
Yeah.
But it's going to make you faster and increase or decrease your lap times overall. Now, the other thing you can do in the assist menu is actually increase the difficulty of the game in terms of the challenge from the other drivatars as well, right? So if you knock off assists, you're going to get credit bonuses at the end of each race because the game's harder. If you increase the difficulty of your opponents, you're going to make the game harder as well, obviously. You're going to get bigger credits, bonuses as well. And that's going to mean you've got more credits in the bank. You can buy better cars. You can increase your car collector tier. And it's going to open up the game even more for you.
Do you have a preferred car for like beginners or like a series, or is it kind of just personal preference?
It's interesting, actually, because, you know, the sort of natural thing to think is that like smaller, like slower overall top speed cars, like more production cars, the kind of stuff you see on the road every day are going to be better for beginners. But actually, you find that if you're looking at actual race cars that are built for the track and for motorsport, they are more stable generally under intense conditions than a normal road car would be. So in fact, like as you start knocking off those assists like traction control system, stability management, ABS brakes, you'll find that higher end cars with a faster overall top speed built for track are going to be more stable under those conditions. It's actually when you put kind of production cars, you take off all those assists, they become really wobbly, they become unstable, and you get into trouble.
I like the trucks. I like driving the trucks.
Oh yeah, the trucks are good. All right.
It was like,
is that your tip?
Trucks.
I like the trucks.
Tip number 2.
Drive the truck. I like photos.
Yeah, gosh.
So there's tip number 1, right? Look at that assists menu. Find out what you're comfortable with, but then start stretching yourself, knocking off those assists. Now, and the rest of the tips will go into a little bit more detail about what those actual assists are and what knocking them off, you know, what the, I guess the, what you need to deal with when you knock them off.
Okay.
So we go on to tip number 2?
Yeah, let's do it.
Tip number 2, and this is going to sound silly, but if you've ever played a multiplayer game on Xbox Live on Forza Motorsport 7, you'll know that it's not that silly. Use your brakes, people.
Yes.
Come on.
Brakes are there on cars for a reason. They slow it down, they stop it, and most importantly, they help you get around corners, right? You know, we're all used to arcade racers, especially from the olden days where you didn't want to use your brakes, right? It was about drifting, it was about maybe just touching the brake to kick the car out, or you could just keep it flat on all the time. You definitely cannot do that in Forza Motorsport 7. That shouldn't be news to anyone, but, you know, it definitely is, unfortunately. So
people don't want to lose that speed, you know?
Well, that's it. But the thing about braking and good braking is that being slower with your braking and gentler with your braking and more controlled with your braking actually makes you faster, right? There's an old saying that's like someone I used to work with used to say all the time: slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And that is really important for Forza Motorsport and race driving in general, okay? So what you want to think about with braking here is keep it under control, keep it gentle, keep it gradual, and that will give you more control, which means you can get into corners faster and out of corners faster, right? And that's where it gets really important, okay? Because you don't want to be hanging around in corners, losing control, and then having to right yourself when you should be jamming on the accelerator and getting down your straight as well, right? Exactly. So important thing to remember here is straight line braking, okay? So when you're driving in your car, you want to be applying the brakes when your wheels are all pointing in the same direction, right? You're in a straight line. Because as soon as your wheels move out of alignment, then your braking is not going to be as effective, and there's more chance of you losing control.
Interesting.
That makes so much sense, but I never thought.
It makes so much sense, doesn't it? Yeah. So what you'll see generally is in racing games is that people will approach a corner, they'll jam on the brakes too hard first of all, because you want to be gradual with that pressing of the brakes, and then they'll start turning into the corner with the brakes on, right? That's when your wheels lock up and your car just keeps going in the same direction. So you're not getting the benefit of the turn, and you're also not getting the benefit of the car slowing down efficiently, okay? And then that sets you up really poorly for your racing line into the corner and sets you up really poorly for accelerating out of the corner.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So be gentle.
Yeah.
It's a point I wanted to make as well. I've got a controller here as well. These triggers on an Xbox One controller are phenomenal in terms of analog, right? They've got, I don't know, a billion different points in there.
Yeah.
That's not verified by the hardware team. But they're squishy because every point in that squish is an extra point of pressure, okay?
Right.
That's super important for Forza, both in braking and accelerating, because you want to use every single bit of that, okay? So it's not just on and off with brakes.
Yeah.
Nice squeeze. As you need to slow down faster, then squeeze it even harder, and then same with acceleration out of the way, okay?
And a really cool thing about the triggers, especially for Xbox One, are the impulse triggers. You can really, you feel the rumble inside of the triggers, and so that really kind of gives you cues into what you're doing when you're going around.
That's a great point, because you want to use that feedback as well. That's built into Forza, so you can feel what's happening within your wheels, you can feel where your braking points are, and that's really important. So really quickly on ABS, right? So, you know, master your braking with ABS on if that makes you feel more comfortable.
Definitely.
Knocking ABS off is going to improve your lap times, right? Do you know what ABS is?
Yeah.
So it's an electronic system. I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
tell me then. Explain it to me.
It's
the one thing.
I'm going to throw up.
He said it.
I'm too nervous.
ABS stands for anti-lock braking system, right? So it's basically a system that stops your wheels locking up. So if you jam on the brake in a production car, like, you know, if someone walks out in front of your car, you jam on that brake, it actually pulses the brakes so that they don't lock, the wheels don't lock up, and then you lose traction, you skid, okay? So it pulses the brakes. So in Forza Motorsport 7, if you've got that turned on when you're racing, it's going to pulse your brakes as you're approaching a corner, which actually means you slow down under more control, but it takes a longer time for the car to slow down, okay? So by turning them off, yes, it decreases the stability of the car. The wheels are more likely to lock up if you jam the brakes on, but it's actually going to stop the car quicker or slow the car quicker to get you into a corner and then accelerate out of it faster.
And you're not railing on that brake, are you? Like, you're not hammering on that down. You're kind of
You shouldn't be.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be. Yeah, because that's when it's going to lock up. You know, that's why you see cars in an F1 race or a motorsports race. When you see those wheels lock, you see the smoke come off. That's because they've jammed on the brake too soon. Now, it's not always a bad thing. You know, you can use that to your advantage. But, you know, it's been at the edge of control. If you keep that on for too long, you're going to be out of control. You're going to lose traction.
It's like my drive-a-tar. If you see my drive-a-tar, it's always out of control.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's driving crazy.
Well, see, if you follow these tips, then you'll be absolutely
It's going to be way better.
All right, so remember that. Use your brakes, straight line braking, take off ABS. You don't need that. You get used to it. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast.
I love that.
Yeah,
it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not just really for life.
Yeah, it actually works. It works for a lot of things. Right, and now the other thing about braking points, braking, which is going to take us on to our next point, is braking points, right? Learning where on every track, on every corner, you need to be applying those brakes, rather than just trying to like make it up as you go along, okay? Which brings us to point 3, or tip 3, which is learn the tracks. Again, it sounds simple, it sounds obvious, but it's like the #1 best way to get faster in Forza Motorsport 7. Okay, there's a whole ton of tracks in here. There's lots of different, variations of the tracks as well. By running them again and again and again, you're going to obviously know those tracks better. You're going to know the corners better. You're going to learn your braking points better, so you can, you've got them every time. This is like doing your homework, right?
Yeah.
You do your homework, so when it comes to exams, you're better. You learn the tracks in Forza Motorsport 7, so when it comes to that multiplayer race or when you're playing the game, you're going to be better at it as well. Now, there's another benefit to this, which I think sits around all of these tips here, is that by learning the tracks, you actually get a much better connection with the track, right? The track becomes your friend.
Yeah.
You learn about the soul of the track, right? And I think that's an amazing thing about Forza Motorsport 7. Like Laguna Seca, for instance, right, is one of my favorite racetracks in the whole world. And the reason for that is that I've been playing it in racing games for
forever,
years. And I know it so intimately now. Like, I kind of feel like I understand the soul of what makes that track special, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by learning the tracks, you're going to get faster. You're going to know your way around the track quicker. You're going to have a drop on your rivals, and I think it actually like increases your connection to the game. You're going to enjoy it more in the long term as well.
Totally agree.
It's
yeah.
giving me wanting to play this so bad.
So
Like, you-
good. Yeah.
so good.
It's really good.
I love it. I love it. I'm dying to play now. God.
Good. Right.
Yeah.
So tip number 4. Ready?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Mod cards. So mod cards in Forza Motorsport 7 are a brilliant way to earn extra credits in races. You can apply these before you go into a race. You get them through loot crates. You get them as you unlock races as well. So they're going to add credits for you. They're also a really good way of like stretching you again, encouraging you to learn different things about racing. Okay, so we've got some on screen here. So like night race, for instance, there'll be ones where they'll, if you've got assists on, it will take those assists off and encourage you to race without them and give you bonuses for doing so. So taking ABS off, taking controlled steering off, traction control, whatever, all of those sort of things. So, it's great because you're getting bonuses.
Yeah, I see it there. They're showing the kind of like the XP boost. And
There you go.
yeah.
Oh, suggested line off. Now, actually, that's something I should have mentioned and learned the tracks, right? So
okay.
having your racing line is one of the, artificial assists, let's
Sure.
say,
Yeah.
in Forza Motorsport 7. So I play with it off, but if you're learning a track, it's actually brilliant to stick that suggested racing line on because that then gives you a really good sense of where you should
Idea
be
where
on
you
the
should be
track
braking,
Right.
yeah.
at any given time. Yeah, so just...
But it's not the fastest, is it? Like it's faster to find your own?
No, it should be the fastest.
It should be.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
interesting.
racing line is essentially that should be the fastest way around the track because
Interesting,
it's basically the shortest route from one corner to the next,
Gotcha.
right, all the way around the track.
Right. It's a bit
Now-
harder to overtake people though, because everybody's kind of
Well, yeah.
driving that line. So
100%. If
Gotta
you're,
deviate
if
a
you're
little
in
bit.
a pack of traffic, then
Right.
you're not always going to be able to stick rigidly to that racing line. So
Exactly.
you're going to have to improvise in real races. But if you're hot lapping, you want to be on the racing line as
There we
much
go.
as you possibly can.
Good to know. Good to know.
All right. So we've talked about mods a little bit as well there. So credit bonuses, unlock more cars,
Yeah.
progress through the game faster, and also pushing you to try new things as well, right?
Yeah, try some different stuff.
Okay.
Nice.
Right. So let's move on to tip number 5.
Tip
Remind me what
number
tip number
5.
5 is.
There it is.
Download some tunes.
Ooh, I like this one. I love tunes.
And I don't mean like music for the car when
Aw,
you're
man.
driving around.
Okay. Now I
Disappointing.
feel like an idiot.
This is a reference to the
The
hardcore Forza Motorsport community who are absolutely incredible at what they do, from painting cars and designing cars through to tuning cars, right? Now, and this is the thing, there are people out there playing Forza who know this game inside out. They know cars inside out. They're big car nuts in real life as well, and they totally understand what makes a car tick, right? So they spend all their time building these amazing tunes for your favorite cars. You should totally try and download some of them and use them out in your favorite cars and in tracks as well. Some tunes will be more attuned to
Nice.
straight line racing, for instance, or some will be more for technical racing where you've got
Okay.
lots of turns.
Oh, so you can download other people's and then you don't even have to worry
100%.
about
So-
trusting yourself.
So up here, right, we've got Raceboy77, who I know really well. We went out to Circuit the Americas in Austin with him,
Oh,
I guess
really?
2 years ago for Forza Motorsport 6. And he actually, we did a competition with the best Forza players in the world, and he came first, right?
Ooh, wow.
It was really cool, because then he got to race Forza Motorsport 6, like sitting on the track at Circuit of the Americas.
Oh, that's crazy.
Against a
super
real
meta.
racing driver who was actually racing on the track. And
Oh, and they were, like,
at the same
racing for
time. Yeah, they
times?
were racing against each other.
Interesting.
That's- I like
and
that.
Wow.
Raceboy won. So definitely check out, those amazing tuners within the community. There's like Johnson, Lightning, and Raceboy, who we just talked about as well. They've publicly shared their tunes, so you can race exactly what they are racing when they are winning all those races and doing an amazing job. Okay, so check
Nice.
out those tunes.
Got it.
Right. Now we're getting into an area which I know is terrifying.
It's
for you
very
guys.
terrifying.
honestly.
In real life and in games, to be
Honestly,
honest.
yeah.
Yeah.
But this is another tip that will increase your lap times. It's going to make you faster. And I would like to make the case that this will change the way you play driving games forever. It's actually going to increase your enjoyment of driving games from now until
End of time.
infinity. Yeah. And it is race in manual. Take off automatic gears
Yeah.
and race stick, right? This is a big deal, right? And I know,
It's terrifying.
so I'm from the UK, obviously.
Yeah.
I've been over here for 5 weeks, so I've become intimately aware of your love affair with automatic cars over
Yeah,
here, right?
yeah.
Everything is automatic.
Well,
me.
especially with Seattle traffic, man. Like driving a manual in stop and go is a nightmare.
That's
Well-
kind of true. But
Yeah.
nothing really compares to the feeling of
Being able to do one of these guys.
clutching, gunning
I don't
through
think that's
it.
how it
Yeah,
works.
it's
I
amazing.
think,
this,
you're
yeah?
driving a bus and opening the door. I think that's what you're doing.
But there's genuinely a cultural thing here where I think people who have grown up in Europe and driven in Europe are they're completely used to manual
Yeah.
shifting,
Yeah.
right? So it's less of a change to them, I suppose. And whereas I guess over here you're so used to automatic, then going to manual
Yeah.
in a game like Forza Motorsport 7
Yeah.
feels like a bigger leap.
That's true. There's
No,
always
you're
a
right.
joke that if you don't want to get your car stolen, just drive a stick.
Because no one can
will
drive.
be able
No
to.
one can drive.
Yeah, no one
Yeah.
will
No,
drive it.
actually, when I was 16, I learned on a manual and then never drove one again.
Really?
I had like an opportunity to drive a DeLorean and I couldn't drive it because of I can't drive. It was like it was the worst to be
Oh,
honest.
mate,
So I
that
should have.
sucks.
Yeah.
Well, listen, here's your opportunity. You can get back to driving manual, right? And I swear, for me, I remember we were doing a hot lap competition 2 years ago on Forza Motorsport 6, and someone in the Forza community actually said to me, "Race manual. You're going to take so much time off, right?" And I did, right? So I switched from automatic, which I'd always raced in every racing game,
Yeah.
to manual. I had about an hour of pain. Just trying to
Sure.
get used to it,
Yeah.
having to manage gear shifting as well as braking and accelerating. From then on, it's been beautiful. I'm faster, and I feel more engaged and connected to my racing games because you're constantly thinking. You're no longer just brake and
that's-
accelerate.
yeah,
You're thinking,
yeah.
okay, which gear do I need to be in? How do I keep my revs high? So you've got that much better
Nice.
connection to the game. You
Makes the
understand.
game more in depth.
It does.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just you've got
Yeah.
more to do, more
That's
to
a
think
good
about.
point. I
So
never
it's
thought about
it
it's
that
more
way, yeah.
enjoyable down the line.
Yeah.
Right. The reason it's faster, we should get to that, is that in automatic shifting, it's less to think about, definitely. But the car is making the choice for you when it wants to shift up gear and shift down a gear as well, right? It's not always using the full limits of those gears, right? So you might actually be shifting up gears faster than you'd want to get the full pull from
Yeah.
the engine in that gear,
makes
right?
sense.
When you're shifting to manual, you're making that decision, right? So you can really start watching that rev counter and see where it's getting right to the very edge of its limit. That's when you want to shift.
That's
okay?
pretty awesome. I think I want to see it. I gotta see it live. I feel like you can kind of
Yeah.
pitch it to us. I don't know. Can we play it? I think it's a much better example.
Yeah, let's do it. Right.
Let's do
Okay.
it. Let's
There
so
we go.
so let's okay. So we'll get this race started here.
All right, loading up.
Hold on. This is on manual, isn't it?
Uh-oh.
Let's see.
Let's go to assists.
Custom. Look at that.
Oh, let's get this off.
Just turn it all off.
ABS off. Okay, steer normal. Traction control. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
He's got all these off. Right. I might
Wow.
put traction stability back on now. Let's leave them off here. Right. So we've got manual on, fuel and tires. Good.
Nice.
Right. Okay. So we're going to accept
Ready to
that.
hit the track.
I feel like there's a lot of pressure on this now.
No, it's fine.
No,
You
this
get
is
it. It doesn't. Yeah, trust me. We're so bad.
Gonna be more pressure on you.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if
Oh,
we can
no.
drive. I don't know if we'll have time.
Now-
I think conveniently we'll cut this segment short. I think that's.
never be a simulator. It was Josh playing PUBG.
Yeah, that was pretty
Oh,
bad. Josh
yeah.
playing PUBG in
let's
front
not
of
bring that up
Brandon
again.
was.
In front of Brendan. Yeah, I saw that.
Sorry,
But he
Josh.
came
Let's bring that up again.
I didn't think you could come below 100 as well. He was like 104th or something, wasn't he?
I think he
That's
died
amazing.
in the air
Yeah,
before you hit the
incredible.
ground.
I don't know how you managed that. Right, we just need to wait for this to load out.
Oh, great.
So the thing I'm going to want to do here is, so I'm going to be using the full limit of each gear.
Okay.
And then when I'm coming to corners and I'm braking, so I obviously want to be moving down the gears, I want to make sure that I'm keeping my revs as high as possible, right? So that, because if I'm in too high a gear when I'm moving slowly, then my acceleration is going to be really poor as well.
Gotcha.
But I want to minimize that time between braking, going slowly, and then getting the acceleration going as well,
Nice.
again afterwards, all right? So it's about keeping
right,
the
here
revs high. Right, oh
we
my
go.
God. So let's
And
see.
it's a beautiful
Just
car.
remember that I'm an intermediate, possibly beginner
Okay.
Forza player. We should just, I just want to put that out there again. And, what
Landscapes.
track are we on? So we are on Laguna Seca.
Yeah,
here
it's
as
your
well,
baby.
okay.
This is
So
your.
I should know which track I'm on.
Look at all these
No.
avatars.
Now, I'm going to try and make sure that I'm being sensible with my braking here as well. First of all,
There you go.
because I've been talking about it. And secondly, because when you're in traffic like this,
Yeah. So
There-
many cars.
there
Yeah, it
is
is.
no real benefit to smashing through all the cars, okay? That's why people's drivatars are horrific
That's me.
drivers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so you're not supposed to.
Oh,
hit
look
the
at
other
this
cars.
guy. What's he doing behind
Yeah.
me?
It's probably Malik.
That's probably my driver yeah.
Unbelievable.
So you
Okay.
can't. Okay, so don't crash into the other cars.
Don't crash into all the cars. I mean, Robin's
Slow
racing
down.
and all that,
Do you?
but,
Yeah.
you should probably try not to.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got a bit of clear track in front of me.
I was always curious if if that affected your points at the end. Clean
No.
racing, I think.
I mean, if you've got simulation damage on, then it's going to get you into trouble. But
Oh, okay.
Definitely gonna affect your handling for that.
Yeah, totally.
Separate from
It's hard to
these
talk and
points-
drive.
It
yeah,
is.
for sure. Separate from these points.
So what do
Let's
you?
talk about Forza 7 real quick. It just came
Who
out.
turned the difficulty of these drivers?
How are you actually shifting right now? Like what?
So I'm using. That's a great question. So I'm using B to shift up and
Okay.
X
There we
to
go.
shift down. Okay, coming up to the corkscrew here, so I need to concentrate.
No clutch?
No clutch yet, but that. Just hold your horses, all right? My goodness, I've got enough to think about right now. Now, if you've got an elite controller,
Ooh.
Yes.
and you don't need to have one clearly to really get the most out of Forza Sport 7. If you do have an elite controller, then it's amazing for Forza 7 because you can
Really?
get those paddles on
Paddles,
underneath,
yeah.
and you can use them for your shifts, which
yes.
actually feels a lot more like driving a real car with paddle shifts.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a lot of fun. Oh, just cut that corner there.
My last car
Sorry,
had
lads.
paddle shifters.
There you go. See, now what I was doing there, I'm not concentrating because I'm listening to you, but I stayed in first gear far too long there. See, if you had the sound on, you'd really be able to hear the engine whining and like juddering as you get to the end of your
Yeah, so I feel like
the gear there.
I feel like audio cues are super important.
Oh, there we go.
Totally.
We have a bit of sound now.
There we go.
Oh God!
Get it?
Tell you what, the back end of this BMW is lively. That's because the traction control's off. Right. Okay. So are you getting the gist here?
Yeah, I think so. These
Straight
are
line
great tips.
braking, gentle through the turns. I'm 17 and 24, so it's not
It's always
like
hard playing and talking.
Blow
This is
the
not.
engine?
Yeah.
Is that possible?
I don't think you
I
can.
think
You know,
yeah.
I'm not sure you can.
Don't worry about it. Go with it.
Just gun it.
Well, that's the point, though. You shouldn't be anywhere near blowing your engine because you should be keeping that under control.
So you're shifting down there. 'Cause
Shifting
when you
down
shift
there,
down,
yeah.
your car naturally slows down.
Well, yeah, but it's an inefficient way to slow the car
Okay,
down.
that's good to know.
Because you want to keep your revs high, but
Yeah.
not like screaming against your rev
Totally.
counter. You know. Right. Are you wanting a wee shot here? You want to try this out?
Okay. I'd actually rather see you use manual with clutch.
Okay. So we might need to come
for the
out
sake
of
of
this.
time,
Ethan is
right?
avoiding
Time.
it.
Right?
I'll tell you what we'll do, right? I'm just gonna, because for the sake of time, because to do it properly, I'm gonna have to come all the way out
Oh, okay.
and shift the settings. Oh, that's a pretty dirty use of the corkscrew there.
There
Sorry
you go.
about that. So manual with clutch is tip number 7, right?
Yes.
Now, if you've mastered manual controls, if you're comfortable with that, and it shouldn't take you too long. What was that?
Is that a dragon? Is there a dragon on this map
It
somewhere?
did sound like a dragon. I don't know if you guys heard
Oh,
that.
okay.
Tip number 7.
Oh gosh.
Manual with clutch.
Okay, manual with clutch. So if you've mastered manual, if you're comfortable with that, adding manual with clutch is going to save you more time. But actually, it's not that great of a leap. If you're used to racing manual, then clutch is just another little thing you have to think about, right? So, if you drive a manual, you have to depress the clutch to change gear, right? If you don't depress the clutch, then the gear's not going to engage, and your engine is going to make that horrible noise.
Gotcha.
Your gearbox is going to fall out, and it's going to cost you a lot of money, okay? So adding clutch in Forza means that you have to do an additional button press before you shift up or shift down gears. Oof, nice power slide there. Right,
Nice.
so actually, it's not that big of a difference. And
It's just another button.
yeah, it's just another button. It's default mapped to left bumper when you play Forza for the first time. And handbrake is on the A button. But what you can do is swap them around. So if you're running gear shifts on X and B, then you've got A there. So all you're actually doing is adding a press of A at the same time as you press X or B.
Interesting.
Got it.
That's me
So you
not,
just need
not
sausage
concentrating,
fingers.
Right? Well, that's it. But basically all you're doing is you're rolling A onto X.
Yeah.
Or, on this side it's A onto B like that. I don't know if you can see
That's
that on
some-
camera. But
that's
you're
some
basically
pro.
just saying A to X, A to B that way.
Awesome.
Right? Now, shortening that distance between you pressing the clutch in and shifting obviously makes it quicker.
Mm-hmm.
The game will shift quicker with a clutch than it does with just manual gears. So you're making sure that your revs are higher, you're getting the most pull out of your engine, and you're shaving off again, halves of
Here and
seconds
there,
of
yeah.
every
Right,
lap
but
time.
every time.
Yeah, every single time you change gear, you're saving some time.
I am pumped.
Ooh, how's that?
That's
This
great.
is good.
Yeah,
These
it's
are some
alright,
good
isn't it?
tips.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home and try it at home.
Right.
Go home and try.
Can we
it.
remember them
Nice.
all?
Somebody go home and try it
Go
home.
home and try it at home. Yeah.
Graeme, this is awesome. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
No, it's my pleasure.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
be. I feel better already.
We should try this again.
That'd be a good couch co-op. Is
Oh,
just
yeah, just
take
see
it
how
Well,
home
I'm
many
going to give you
hours
the
are
challenge,
driving.
right? I'm
Yeah,
going to get you.
yeah.
Why don't we set up? We should set up. Let's go with Laguna Seca, right?
Okay.
Okay.
We'll figure out a car. So why don't we say, what car have I been running? Why don't we say there's a Mercedes touring. We'll put this on Twitter afterwards, right?
Okay.
We'll go Laguna Seca.
Okay.
We're going to use this this Mercedes touring car that I've been racing recently in Forza Motorsport 7, right? And we'll take a week, and I want you to put those tips in action. Just run hot laps.
Just one hot,
right?
yeah.
And register your track time today or your lap time tonight, and then practice through the week. Knock off those assists. Get faster and faster, and then let's see next week how much your lap times have come
I like
down.
this challenge. It's like homework, but a challenge.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, and we
definitely.
can put it on Twitter as well. So if if some of these tips are new to you, if you want to increase your speed, you can join us as well, and we'll see how fast your lap times come down.
Yeah, that sounds
Good
awesome.
deal?
Thank
Graham,
you. Thank you so much for coming
joining,
on.
No worries.
joining us.
My
on the show.
pleasure. Thanks very much.
Oh my God! Everybody, give it up for Graham
man.
Boyd, AC Bongos.
Hey,
Everybody.
see you later.
Oh man, I might sell my car and buy a manual car today.
Yeah, you think so?
No, probably not. But those are some great tips, and
Yeah.
I like the idea that you push yourself a little bit more to try something different. And
Yeah.
if the benefit is like you shaving off time off your laps, then I think that's amazing. So Forza Motorsport 7 in stores now, going to be Xbox One X Enhanced when it comes out November 7th.
Very excited for that.
All right.
Very excited.
Yep. So next up is probably the most futuristic segment that we've ever done.
How futuristic are we talking about, Malik?
All right, we said this last week, but I'm talking controlling a computer with your eyes.
This is exactly what we said last week, but
Exactly.
hopefully it'll work.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Check it out. Okay, we are here with a very familiar face, friend of the show, Drew Peterson. How's it going? Let's
How you
fist
doing,
bump.
Malik? Nice
There
to
we
see you
go.
over
Yeah.
our hardware here. We
Over
got a fist
hardware.
bump over the hardware.
Yes, this is very interesting. So we have a monitor, but this is not just any monitor. This is a monitor with Tobii eye tracking attached to it. So Drew, tell us a bit about what's going on here.
Tobii is a great partner of ours. They build eye trackers. I'm going to show you a standalone eye tracker that you can buy and
Nice.
attach to any PC. But they also work with our monitor partners. And so this is an Acer Predator monitor, 27-inch.
Ooh, very
It
beautiful.
runs $599, but at the bottom here, you can see that there's an eye tracking bar across the bottom. And what that's doing is looking at your eyeballs.
So cool.
Yeah,
That is something that we're living in the future, Drew.
totally.
We are in the future. All right, so let's take a look at some of the use cases for this, because I think this is going to be fascinating.
Yeah, so the first thing we need to do is to make sure that you can see the eye tracker and the eye tracker can see you. And so Malik's going to go ahead and get that monitor set up, and then we're going to go ahead and turn on something called Gaze Trace. And now we've got
There it
Gaze
is.
Trace turned on. And so with this, Malik can kind of train his eyes. You're getting pretty good at it there. The other thing we can do is if I pull up the task switcher and you look at any one of these applications, and then I release the task switcher,
It goes straight to
it
that
goes to
application.
that app. So we go to the browser, we go to Explorer, got the browser open.
There we go.
The other thing that this can do is in Edge, go ahead and look at the URL window.
All right.
It immediately highlights and you start
You just
typing,
start typing.
in your URL.
You don't need to move your finger to the
No
mouse pad.
cursor, no mouse, and so it just snaps to it really quick.
Man, that is such a cool implementation of the eyes.
The other thing that this can do is because it is an IR camera, it can do Windows Hello. And Windows Hello is the feature that I've talked about before on the show about webcams. Well, this is included in that ecosystem. And Windows Hello is how you unlock your PC.
Right.
It's how you buy stuff with your face. So we're going to go ahead and set that up right now.
Let's do it.
It's real easy. All I have to do is go into Settings and go to Sign In Options. And here we start the setup for face recognition. It's very simple. I just put
Start
my
in.
PIN in.
Super secret pin, and there I
And
am.
go ahead and
Ooh, I
look into the camera directly, and
Oh,
it's
here we
enrolling
go.
your face right now. And that's really all it took.
so quick.
Super quick, and we'll go ahead and lock the PC. If you could step to one
All right.
side there, we will lock it.
All right.
And then-
it's time to unlock my PC. Let me just walk on over here.
Boom. So pretty
Quick
cool feature.
Magic, yeah.
Windows Hello allows you to unlock your PC. It allows you to buy stuff from the Windows Store. Early next year, you're going to be able to use Windows Hello with various websites when Fido 2.0 comes out.
Nice.
So your bank, various places like that, as long as they adopt that standard, you'll be able to unlock that with your face.
The power of the face. The power of the face is so awesome. It's another security feature that only obviously you can use. All right. So we have Rise of the Tomb Raider here, one of my favorite games of 2015. Let's talk about how Tobii eye tracking enhances this game.
If you go ahead and use your joystick to walk out from underneath the fire here, you can move and look around with your joystick as you would normally expect. But if you go ahead and pause and just use your head and your eyes, you'll notice that you can actually look all around, and it's very fluid here.
A lot more immersive, moving your head around, I'd say, and way more natural, right? So if I were in Laura's shoes right now, just looking around, this feels like it's basically that experience.
The other feature you can do here besides extended look is something called targeting. And so if you look somewhere and then squeeze the left trigger, which allow you to target, it actually targets exactly where you're looking. You can release that and look somewhere else.
Oh,
and it
wow.
targets.
All right, I'm gonna look on the ground. Boom. It is honestly so accurate. I looked at a place and it targeted right towards it. I think that is impressive. I gotta say, I'm blown away. I'm speechless. I can't even form words right now.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
In every game, it's different, right? It's based on the functionality in the game. This game, they're giving us extend view and target, but it could be something completely different in
Right.
another game. So why don't we switch to Dying Light and I'll show you something else.
Let's go kill some zombies.
Okay, cool.
I hope saying kill zombies is not bad. They're not really people.
No.
Okay. They used to be. Yeah, they're already dead.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we saw the Acer monitor, but maybe I already have a monitor and I still want to take advantage of this. What do we have here?
So the other product that Tobii makes is a standalone eye tracker. This is the Tobii 4C. Runs $149, so very affordable add-on to any gaming laptop or 2-in-1 or even a monitor that doesn't have eye tracking.
Yeah. Oh, nice. It's very small and yeah, just sleek. So let's get into some Dying Light. Let's utilize this bad boy. There we go. All right, so we are in Dying Light. Tell us about how Tobii enhances this game.
So the cool feature of this game that they've enabled for eye tracking is allowing you to look around with the flashlight. And so if you hit up on your D-pad in this dark hallway here, you'll see the flashlight come on. And then using your eyes and your head, you can actually look around and control the flashlight with your eyes, which is a very cool feature.
So cool.
Another layer of immersion like you were talking about earlier.
And it works so well. I keep going back to that. This is basically one-to-one from what I can see. It's really awesome. This has been fantastic. I very rarely get my mind blown, but this is one of those situations where I did get my mind blown because it's just so cool. Drew, thank you so much for stopping by and showing us Tobii eye tracking. Good to see you as well. And back to the live show.
Oh, hey, it worked.
Yeah.
You sounded
I'm happy.
great.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you like it? Did it blow your mind?
It blew my mind, honestly. I said it in the segment, I believe, but I was speechless, honestly. It doesn't happen very often for tech that it surprises me with how well it works, but that was one of the segments.
That's pretty cool,
It
man.
was awesome, yeah.
That's awesome.
For sure.
Well, a big update is rolling out to Windows 10, and to help us understand some of the gaming improvements, we have a very special guest.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jordan Silverthorne. Everybody, give it up for Jordan.
Jordan,
how's it going?
man?
Doing good.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Of course.
Let's talk the Fall Creators Update.
Yeah, ooh,
Yeah.
I'm excited. But before we start, for people who don't know, what do you do here at Xbox?
So I'm in Xbox marketing.
Yeah.
So I kind of have a dual role. I handle a lot of the outbound marketing for the console updates that we do, and then also some of the PC stuff that we do as well.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, so let's dive right in. Let's talk about some of the gaming improvements that this new update brings.
Yeah, so this new update brings a lot of really neat improvements to gaming and kind of builds upon a lot of the stuff that we did back in spring with the first Creators Update. So the first thing is game mode. Now, game mode was a feature that we introduced in the Creators Update back in spring, but we've improved upon it with this one. We've tweaked some of the system resources that are available to systems running game mode, particularly for popular configurations, things with like 6-core and higher CPUs.
Nice.
You know, typically if you have like a really high-end gaming PC with a lot of cores, a lot of RAM, turning on game mode isn't going to get you a whole lot of improvement. Game mode is really designed for kind of lower to mid-end systems, and it's designed to give you better performance in gaming. So it's designed to give you more consistent frame rates and higher frame rates overall.
Nice. So it prioritizes the game.
Yeah,
Nice.
prioritizes the game. So whenever we first introduced the feature, in order to turn it on, it was a little interesting. You had to go into the system settings, and there was a switch for it there, but then you still had to go into the game bar and turn it on a title-by-title basis.
Interesting.
So one of the biggest improvements that we made is we made it really easy now to turn on game mode. So now whenever you bring up the game bar,
I'll step back a little
you'll
bit
notice we have this extra little icon here, and it's just a really simple switch for game mode. So it's just a one-click solution. Click it,
Bam.
turn it on, turn it off.
So is that on or off right there?
So that's on right there.
Okay.
That's,
And that's
off right
off.
there. Got the little.
What that sign means.
The
Ethan.
little.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's a stupid question.
So it makes
No
it
such thing.
really, really
The
simple.
question is the one you didn't ask, Ethan.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Ed.
Dad. That's my dad back there, you guys.
Now the old way to turn on game mode is actually still here as well. So previously you would have to click on this little settings icon, then you could go up here and say use game mode for this game. If people are used to doing that, we kept that in here, but now the really simple way is just to turn it on right there in the game bar.
Nice.
Boom. Super
I love
quick.
it, man. I
Yeah.
love it.
While we're talking about while we're talking about the game bar, we've also made some improvements to mixer streaming with the game bar.
There we go.
Yes. So,
Ethan's happy.
yeah, mixer. We've done a couple of things here. First thing that we've done is now your, oh, sorry, that was game DVR. That is a different feature.
Got a nice clip in there. There you go.
Got a
Nice
little
3-second clip. There you go.
Yeah. So now your mixer streams are going to load faster whenever you're broadcasting.
Okay.
Now, I'm not entirely sure because, oh, yeah, there we go. Loaded right up.
Wow.
Yeah, so definitely a faster situation there whenever you're first going to stream. You know, bring it up, hit that record icon, and it's going to come up faster. Another thing that you're going to see is bitrate changes are now going to happen smoothly. So previously, sometimes the screen would go black, or you'd have some stuttering, but now we've fixed that so that those bitrate changes are going to be nice and smooth whenever you're using the game bar to broadcast.
Awesome. And as a reminder, Win G for that game bar. That's all you got to press, right?
Well, and yes, WinG brings up the game bar, but another nice little tip, if you are in the middle of a lot of action, you want to just start broadcasting immediately, you don't have to do WinG. There's a separate little keystroke, which is Win-Alt-B, and that'll just start broadcasting instantly.
Ooh,
B for broadcast.
That's a tip, guys.
Yeah, that's a tip. So just kind of a
Sweet.
quicker way to get that process started, less clicks.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
I like it, man. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So accessible to like the average person that just wants to stream.
Definitely.
Get into it. You know?
Yeah, that's the whole idea behind it, is just, build that functionality right into Windows. No extra hardware required, no extra software required, just a few clicks and you're broadcasting.
And you're in there.
That's great.
Now, we've made some other improvements as well, and you're going to find all these actually in the settings menu. So back, again, with the original Creators Update in spring, we added this entire section for gaming in the settings menu. And now we've added some more things here as well. So the first thing is, I'm going to come in here actually to the broadcasting menu. So this is where you're going to manage all the different settings that you can adjust as part of your stream. And one of the things that we have here now is a checkbox for broadcast game audio only. So this is really cool. Like if you, for example, have a browser window open, you're listening to some music, and you want everybody who's watching your stream to be able to hear that as well, then you can uncheck that box, and they're going to hear everything that's happening over system audio on your stream.
Oh, does that work with like Discord, so you can hear your party?
Yeah, that will. So checking this box is going to limit the broadcast audio that's coming over to just what's coming through the game. Now that's still separate from voice controls, so you can still turn on your mic separately as well as your camera. But now you basically have this option to choose whether you're going to broadcast game audio only or system-wide audio. So that gives you a little bit of options to be a little bit more creative with your stream that way.
And I think then you could, that's interesting. That might affect like some audio settings. Like I feel like you could use a little bit better audio equipment if you wanted and still run it through this if you turn that off somehow. I don't know. I'm thinking out loud here. As a streamer, because I'm going to go home and play with this, I'm like thinking, what can I do to improve my setup here?
Yeah.
This is great.
So nice little tip right there. Just a simple little checkbox, but it can make a huge difference depending on how you want your stream to appear
That is
out to
awesome.
the world.
Nice.
Another thing that we have that's new while we're in here is the Xbox networking tool.
Nice.
So this is something that we've had on console for a long time.
Long time, yeah.
But now we brought it over to Windows. So you can see as soon as I clicked on that, I didn't have to do anything else. It just started doing some stuff. So it's looking at the Xbox Live services, it's looking at my internet connection, it's looking at my ping, packet loss. It's basically trying to identify if there are any issues that are going to impact my multiplayer gaming performance. And the great thing about it is, if there is something that's impacting it, we've got this nice little button here that just says,
Fix it.
Fix it.
Which fixes it. Nice.
So I can hit that, and it's going to go out and do some things, try to resolve any issues that are preventing me from having a great experience online.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So convenient.
Having a dedicated networking button and then being able to see your settings and see your network performance and then being able to fix it. Super quick, one screen.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah,
That's great.
absolutely awesome.
is
So
so
you can
great.
see there, whenever I ran that the first time, it was giving me an error under NAT type.
Right.
I hit fix it,
Now
and
it's
now
moderate.
it's saying my NAT type is moderate.
Which is improved.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So how much, how impactful is this on your CPU, GPU, things like that? Like streaming through the game bar, I feel like it's pretty low CPU impact compared to like a typical broadcasting software.
You know what? I'm actually not sure how it compares to typical broadcasting
Okay.
software. I'm sure it's probably better since it is just built right
Built
in.
right in, yeah.
But the great thing is there's now an easy way to check exactly how all the different things that you're doing in your system can impact that, and that is the next tip that I have. Actually.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
So a lot of people are familiar with the task manager. A lot of people get to it by hitting Control-Alt-Delete and hitting the task
Task
manager. There's a simpler way to get to that as well. You can just hit, I believe it's Control-Shift-Escape. We'll also bring it up. Let's try that.
How did I not know that?
There you go.
I did not know after working here.
So Control-Shift-Escape just brings it right up. And this view is probably familiar to a lot of people, but we've added something new, and that's we now have GPU right here in the Task Manager whenever you look at the Performance tab.
Ooh, nice.
So previously we had CPU, we had memory, we had disk, we had Ethernet, we had Wi-Fi.
But
now we have GPU as well. So you can see I'm actually on a Surface Book that has the performance base. So I see not only my integrated Intel HD graphics on the processor, but I've also got my separate NVIDIA GPU down here as well. So I can take a look at those both independently, and I can see, like, if I brought a game back up and I was running those, you would see those little graphs jump up because the usage would jump up. So it's a really nice, simple way to just be able to keep an eye on all the different things that are going to impact your gaming performance all right here in one spot.
Nice.
I love it, man.
All these settings are awesome, kind of proof that Microsoft is really putting gaming in the forefront, making sure that it's more accessible than ever if you're streaming on Windows or playing on Windows, that you have the information that you need to kind of make sure it's the best experience possible. And I love that. I think it's fantastic.
Totally.
Yeah.
So awesome. All right. So, and the update is coming out?
Yeah, the update is out today.
Out today,
so,
nice.
you know, go into
check it
system
out.
settings.
Go check it out.
Click on update, and yeah, check it out.
Awesome.
This has
Jordan,
been
thank you
great.
so much for stopping by
thanks a
and
lot.
Thanks for
showing us
bringing
these
me.
tips.
Yeah. And I think the most important tip that you can pull up Task Manager without Control Alt
Honestly,
deleting.
that's probably, I'm just going to go home and do that.
over and over again.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much, man. That
Thank
is
you.
awesome.
All right, everybody, give it up for Jordan.
Yes.
Thorn.
Thank you.
All right. Man, this is such a
Now I have two computers.
information-fueled episode. I love it.
Yeah, it is pretty great. And I hope you guys are taking notes.
Taking notes,
I'm
because
not.
there will be a quiz next week. Just kidding. All right, let's move on to the top 5 games. Time for our top 5 list.
Ooh, all right. Do you want this? All right, you take this.
There.
He's like, I want it. All right,
All right.
fine. All right,
Cool.
let's talk this week. We're gonna start with the top 5 paid games.
Yeah.
I think we'll start with that. Number 5, you guys probably could have guessed this. Destiny 2 remains on the list, releasing for PC on the 24th of this month, which is just weeks away.
Yep.
And I think you're gonna see a huge resurgence in Destiny because while it's great on console, and I'm a huge fan,
PC Master Race.
4K, uncapped frames.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's gonna be gorgeous.
The game's finally going to hit 60 frames per second.
What are you talking about? Yeah,
Finally.
finally.
Just
Was
saying,
that,
there's
is that a slight?
it was a little bit of a slight. It was a slight.
Okay, nice. I like that. I
all
like
right,
that.
there you
That's
go.
pretty
All
good.
right.
What's number 4, Malik?
Number 4 is NBA 2K18.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice. And at number 3, Middle Earth Shadow of War. Excuse me, I pronounced
Gold
that wrong.
edition.
The gold edition.
I plan on picking this game up.
No, this is
No,
Yeah.
it's not like silver or bronze. It's gold.
it's better.
It's slightly better, but now it's because it's platinum. But I actually want to pick this game up. I've heard
fair.
nothing but great things about this game, so it's no surprise that it's up there, top 5 most paid games.
Yeah,
Love it.
everyone's playing it on Mixer.
Yeah.
Everyone's streaming it.
Such
It's
a good
crazy.
team. They
It
do
is.
such a great job, and they're
They did.
local. That team's local.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I
Kirkland. They're in Kirkland,
I didn't
Washington.
know that.
Yeah.
I gotta go say hi.
Ask for a copy, maybe.
I know they probably hate
kidding.
me. Go ahead. What's number 2, Malik?
Number 2 is probably the regular edition of Shadow of War. There we go. So
Look at that. Look
Everything
at
we
that.
everything we said without the gold edition
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah, and you want the gold. You got to go for the gold. That's what Dad always said.
Oh, beautiful.
He's
10
back
out of
there
10.
behind the camera. You guys know. And number 1, top paid for the second week in a row. Shout it out. It's Cuphead.
There it is. All right.
Yes.
Cuphead. Nice. Look at that. There you go. I love that.
That's us role playing, cosplaying.
Yeah, cosplaying without the actual costume. But
Yeah.
honestly, this game is frustrating, but frustrating everybody, but it's such a good frustration. It's like, I can't wait to play again so I can get so much better and finally beat that boss that just keeps eating my lunch. That's a phrase.
Is it? I don't think so.
I don't know. Maybe it's a phrase. I don't know.
You and Chad decide. Has anyone ever heard someone say they're eating my lunch?
I swear that's a thing. Anyway, all right, so our next list is top 5.
This content.
Okay. We're having a good time. All right,
we
so
are.
let's do it. Our next list is top 5 best rated games in the Microsoft Store.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
This is a new top 5. I don't think we've ever done this one.
Interesting.
Number 5, the OG Resident Evil.
All right.
I loved this, and this is, I think, is like the HD remake of the OG Resident Evil. Very
Nice.
good. If
Very
you like
good.
scary games, classic. If anybody remembers the undead dog jumping through the window, I had a heart attack. It was so scary. I don't know. I
Really?
screamed so loud. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't play scary games because I don't want to have nightmares.
We're gonna change that. We're gonna change that
Oh.
next week, I think, or 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2
Yeah,
weeks. We're gonna
Halloween's
change
coming
that.
up pretty
2
soon,
weeks,
so
baby.
get ready. All right, so number 4 on our list of top rated games is Life is Strange: The Complete Season. one of my favorite games of all time. Honestly, we did a top 5 list a few weeks ago. This was like probably going to be number 6. This was like,
It's so
I
good.
love this game. I love games with stories, and you get to go back and live your life as a teenage high school girl. Because
Yeah, we all wanted that.
Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of drama, but honestly, it tackles really deep topics.
It does.
So it's a really cool game.
Would agree. Highly recommend
Yeah.
it. Tugged at my heartstrings.
Yeah.
I love any game I can connect with at an emotional level at that, and they
Yeah.
did such a great job of making you connect with the characters. Every single one of them, pretty much.
Yeah,
A
pretty
couple
much.
that I was like,
Sometimes
I
you
hate
just want
those
to
guys.
cry.
Yeah.
Some of them are pretty terrible. Terrible human beings. Anyway.
Totally. Number 3, Batman Return to Arkham.
There we go.
Interesting.
This is
Is the top 5 best rated games? Is this of the week or of all time?
I think it's probably of the week. I think they refresh it.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay.
Is this which game in the Arkham series is this?
Return to Arkham?
Yeah.
That was this is the remake. So this is Arkham City and Arkham Asylum. So
Oh,
this was
nice.
like the two, it was like a box set.
This game kind of bucked the tradition of having bad games based off of movies.
Oh gosh.
It was actually a really legitimately good game.
It focused a little bit more on the comics, I think, than
There
the
you go.
show. But it came out pretty recent after the Christopher Nolan movies, which is why it saw popularity. And it was
true.
voiced
That's-
almost completely by the cast of the animated series, which in my opinion still has the best Joker, better than Heath Ledger. But Heath
Ooh.
Ledger, in my opinion, is a close number 2.
Shots fired.
Yeah, Mark Hamill is the man, and he's also Luke Skywalker. People don't know that.
There we go. I didn't know that because I've never watched a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
I don't know it. I've never watched a Star Wars movie in my life.
You make me sick.
Number 2
What's number
is
2?
Borderlands: The Handsome Collection.
Ooh.
Are you a big
Love it.
Borderlands fan?
I'm a huge Borderlands fan. It's great,
Nice.
man. It's funny stuff.
Good game.
Mikey Newman was the first keynote speech I ever saw at a PAX.
Ooh.
He's the guy that voices Scooter, and he also writes. I believe he's a writer, right? He does other stuff there. I don't know his actual job title. I saw him give the keynote speech at PAX West my first year, and from that moment, I knew I was like, I want to work in gaming. I want to do what he does. I want to talk in front of people. Like
That's awesome.
It was incredible.
Being
So ever
inspired by
since
people
then,
in the
huge fan.
industry?
Yeah, blew my mind.
Love that. Love that.
Anyway, I digress. Number 1, this is a pretty good one. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which is actually on sale right now for just $20 if you have Gold Xbox Live.
Another top 10 game of
Great
all
game.
time. I swear, like this is a small studio, CD
Great
Projekt Red, who just made a phenomenal game. I think won so many Game of the Award years last year,
Yep.
and like honestly, like the amount of attention that they put into their games is just unparalleled. Even for a studio that was 2-3 times their size, they
Exactly.
know how to make a good game.
And care about the community. Like they've
Absolutely.
always supported the community, and it's based off a book. People don't know that. The Witcher
I
is
didn't know
based
that.
off books.
I don't read, so I wouldn't know
Oh,
that.
okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Everything makes sense now. All right, cool. So before we head into our final top 5 list, let's start the poll of what top 5 list should we cover next week. So we have 3 choices this week. We have top 5 arcade games,
Top 5 couch co-op games.
and then top 5 real-time strategy games.
Nice. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if you'd abbreviate or not.
No, I want everyone to know.
Yeah,
what
I get
RTS
it.
stands for.
What RTS stands for,
Yeah.
yeah. During last show, you guys voted for this week's top 5, and you picked top 5 games based on movies. This was pretty tough.
This was pretty tough, especially when you don't watch movies.
Yeah.
Like me. Here we go. And at number
true.
5, it's Lord of the Rings:
Return of the King.
Of the King.
Does anyone remember this playing co-op?
Raise your hands in chat.
Woo!
If you remember
This
it.
game was awesome. It was such a
Tabs
fun
remembers
co-op game
it.
when it came out.
My
Oh,
computer's
my
dead.
goodness. That's fine. I got chat up here.
There we go,
There we
yeah.
go. Freakinator. Yes, look at all these people. Rylan, Shademan. Thank you, guys. I'm glad you're shouting out. This game was sick. This was like one of
Nice.
my first, I don't know. It was just I was a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Maybe that was it. But it was a lot of fun, man.
Honestly, yeah. If you love Lord of the Rings, then I don't see why you wouldn't like it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Number 4 pick, though, taking the Mixer world by storm, Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it's that asymmetrical multiplayer gameplay where it's 4v1.
No, it's 8v1.
Is it 8v1?
I think it's 8.
Oh, 8v1. Pardon me. But yeah, that's awesome. I really wanted to play this game actually, but I don't know.
I feel like that's the story for a lot of
Not
games.
enough time. So many games, not enough time. That's all
Yeah.
it is. That's
Yeah,
all it
that's
is,
true.
guys.
That's true.
And then number 3 is the Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay. This is one that you brought up in the meeting.
No one
yesterday.
remembers this
Nope.
game.
Yeah.
This game-
Lennox says this game was awesome, so you know that's true.
It's like people either I don't remember this game, or if you played it, you're like, this game was incredible.
Yes, it
was
came
like,
out on the original Xbox.
Yep.
And it had amazing graphics for the time. If you go back and watch
was.
video of it, it looks amazing.
Yeah,
And,
it's like it was like an early stealth game. Like there were stealth games out then, but it was a stealth game that was
Yeah.
just I don't know. Who the hell thought that Chronicles of Riddick would make a good video game? And it
a
was
good game.
so good.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Like our expectations were
We're
low.
so low at the point. Yeah, for
but
sure.
it's great. It really is. Number 2, a lot of you will remember this one, The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Nice.
That is I think it was just Spider-Man 2.
It's Spider-Man 2. This is the newer one that just came out, but the one that we're talking about is Spider-Man 2, which is came out, I believe, on the PlayStation 2. Wasn't this
2,
an Xbox? And this was the game where you could actually, for the first time, go down to the street and mess with people's lives.
You could, and you could also. It was the first like open world. You could swing everywhere in New York. Like you could even get to the. Yeah, you could deliver pizza. You could get to the Statue of Liberty by swinging on these weird towers. Like it was so fun, and it would never. I think you actually had to connect to buildings. That was the other cool thing.
Oh, so that's
like
really
you couldn't just shoot your web and just swing through the air. Like you had to lock on to things, and I just remember it being so incredible.
By the attention to detail,
and for a PlayStation 2 game, like so long,
so
old, it was awesome.
So yeah, if you get a chance.
Check
you have a PlayStation 2 or Xbox, check it out. All right, our number 1 pick for top game based on a movie. I don't know if you can guess what it is, but it is GoldenEye 007.
Oh, yeah.
All right, there you go, GoldenEye. I think this kind of revolutionized first-person shooters on consoles, obviously with the Nintendo 64 and its interesting gamepad
You always hated the friend that chose Oddjob because he got the hat. Oh. And it's a one-hit kill.
Oh, is it?
It's a one-hit kill. Just like it's like getting a free golden gun at the start of the game.
Oh my goodness,
it's garbage.
So good, but for its time, like now, obviously, if you go back and play, you say, oh man, certain things aren't as I remember them. But I think when you're playing the game in the moment, you just remember how much fun you had playing.
So good.
Old 007.
Yeah, it's you know, and I don't know if it holds up anymore, but it just changed the game.
It did.
Yeah, it did.
Changed the game.
Thank you. I
he's
thought you
on it.
that.
He's on it.
We do have an honorable mention, though. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. It was the pod racing game for N64.
I never got this game, but...
Me and my mom used to play all the time, which is something I should not have shared online. But I totally played that all the time. Yeah, in our jammies. Yep. You what? X-Men Origins Wolverine,
Lennox
the game. Yep.
There you go.
He's like, the game is sick.
Lennox editorializing here.
Yep. I love the director just dropping references.
That's awesome.
I wish he was mic'd for that because I've never heard more excitement and energy in his voice in
so
my life.
For X-Men.
Game was sick.
So good. So those were our top 5 games based off of movies. Thank you for allowing us to do that list, or voting on it. And we're going to get our poll for next week's top 5 list.
Exactly. What are the results?
What is it, Tabs?
Couch co-op.
Top 5 couch co-op games.
That was an option?
Yeah. I read it, I think. I read it, yeah.
I don't remember reading that. You read that. Well, you know.
You're so checked out. You're so checked out.
All right.
It's fine.
All right, dear viewer. This changed from reader last week. Now for our second round of video game tips of the episode. This time for Fallout 4. Sorry, I took your line.
No, it's fine. This is for Fallout 4, the Game of the Year edition. The guy that did the VO work for this was already fired, so you don't feel bad about it.
That was Ethan,
and let's
and
take a look.
Here.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Take a look. By now, most of us have logged quite a few hours into Fallout 4's base game. We've scoured nearly every inch of the wasteland in search of bottle caps and adhesive. We've accidentally stumbled across plenty of angry deathclaws and behemoths, and we've walked for what feels like ages while overburdened just to get our spoils back to the nearest settlement. But for those who haven't gotten their fill yet, Fallout 4 Game of the Year edition is here, and it comes with all 6 of the DLCs. So here's the lowdown, plus some tips to help you get started. With the Wasteland Workshop, you can build cages that let you capture live creatures. We're talking anything from cats and dogs to deathclaws. Once you catch them, you can tame them or have them face off in epic battles. The Wasteland Workshop also adds unique items to decorate with, like taxidermy trophies and neon letters. The Contraptions Workshop lets you use conveyor belts, scaffolding kits, and track kits to construct crazy building machines. It also adds stuff like elevators and warehouse kits. If you want to show off your loot, they've got displays and armor racks too. There's plenty of other fun stuff to mess around with, so let your contraptions do the work while you loot the wasteland. Just be sure to build plenty of generators because you'll need all the power you can get. The Vault Tech Workshop adds a huge selection of Vault-themed build assets, but this DLC is a lot more than that. When you hit level 20, tune in to Vault 88 radio station. If you want to make your life a little easier, bring a power suit plus plenty of Rad-X. The Rad Resistant perk isn't a bad idea either. With Workshop tied to the title of this DLC, we didn't expect it to be so big. There's plenty to do and discover in the dark depths of Vault 88, and even more to break down and rebuild. By the way, if you've ever wondered what the Overseer's job was like, here's your chance. The Automatron DLC is available once you hit level 15. You'll detect a distress signal from a caravan needing help against some hostile robots. Find them, and you'll find Ada, who will inform you of a mysterious character called the Mechanist. This guy's trying to help the wasteland with hordes of murderous robots, which means that you'll have new enemies to stumble upon. You'll also be able to harvest all sorts of goodies from the destroyed bots, which will let you build and mod bots of your own. You get to choose any combination of limbs, armor, abilities, and weapons, even their paint scheme and voice. Ada will become available as a customizable robo-companion too, and depending on how you mod her, she might become one of your favorite companions in the game. Science is a super helpful perk to have for customizing your bots, and keep an eye out for some awesome new weapons. The Nuka World DLC starts at level 30 with a quest called All Aboard. But if you can't wait until then, you can head to the Nuka Transit Station on the far west part of the map. This will take you to Nuka World, which is basically an amusement park turned lawless city of raiders. There's an open wasteland and a handful of park zones to explore, along with new weapons, new baddies, and new loot. This DLC starts you off with a literal gauntlet, so make sure you bring plenty of meds and load up on chems. The lockpicking perk, specifically expert level, is a must-have. After you make it through, you'll be put in charge of a gang of raiders. There are 3 different gangs living here, and as the new overboss, you'll get to figure out how to settle the growing tension between them. They're raiders though, so yeah, good luck. Far Harbor is arguably Fallout 4's most liked DLC, and for good reason. After you save our synth detective buddy Nick Valentine, you'll have the option to tune into Valentine's Detective Agency Radio, which will send you on a quest that leads to the mysterious island of Far Harbor. This island is pretty big, and higher radiation levels have created some pretty nasty new enemies, so it's recommended to be at least level 20. Again, you might want to bring some power armor and Rad X. Don't forget about the Rad Resistant perk either. There are plenty of quests, settlements, and dungeons, which means you can expect plenty of new armor and weapons too. What's interesting about this DLC is that you'll be asked questions about your character that you probably haven't considered before, but we'll leave it at that. By the way, if you're looking for adhesive, it's seriously everywhere here, so stock up. The Fallout 4 Game of the Year Edition features all 6 of the DLCs. You get the freedom to be as creative as you want, explore new areas, and take on some crazy new enemies, plus awesome new loot. So go forth, adventure, gather, and hoard. Good luck in the Wasteland, survivors. May Preston Garvey never again ask for your help with another settlement, and may Dogmeat remain forever by your side.
Nice. So, Ethan, how did you feel about that segment? There you go. Because Pip-Boy does it.
Oh my gosh, this is way too hot. I
What's
can't.
his name?
Vault Boy.
Vault Boy. That's what I meant.
Vault Boy?
You guys know what I meant.
It's Vault Boy.
Sorry.
It's my bud.
Yeah, and that's a cool mask. Can I have it?
Yeah, it's not mine, so have it. Yeah, by all means.
All
Sorry,
right.
Tabs. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, lovely people. It's time to talk to you about some streamers you should check out. Cue the music.
Ooh. Yeah, there it is.
All
there
right.
it is.
That's right. First on our list is Kiwi21Mango. Kiwi is a fun-loving, hard-working mother of 2. She also loves to game with her hubby, who just so happens to be another one of our Mixer partners. That's JP Rocket 45. Kiwi is a variety streamer, but her game of choice is Minecraft. Catch her building all sorts of fun on her streams, which she tries to make happen every night starting around 8 p.m. Eastern, except Mondays and Thursdays. If you'd like to keep up with her, you can follow her on Twitter at Kiwi21Mango. Excuse me.
That was a good job, man.
Yeah.
I think the music helps a lot. Next up, we have Split the Wig. This guy is a streamer who's looking to spread the positivity through gaming. He typically plays shooters like PUBG or Fortnite, and has been co-streaming recently as well. He's got plenty of fun stuff for his subscribers too, like giveaways and emotes. Split streams Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. Central. And you can follow him on Twitter at SplitDaWig.
Nice. Last but certainly not least, it's Old Man Shorty. The voice returns. Old Man Shorty is a kid at heart who hadn't touched his first game until he was 45. That's insane. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I love that. That's cool. But he's been playing them ever since and has now moved on to streaming. This jolly gamer loves to entertain people with his uplifting chat and gameplay. His #1 rule? To just have fun. Great rule. You can find him streaming games like Minecraft, 7 Days to Die, or just having a good talk with his chat. Old Man Shorty tends to play on his days off starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, but since his schedule can be a little unpredictable, give him a follow on Twitter at Old Man Shorty.
Little fun fact, Old Man Shorty was the first partner that I buttoned myself when I got hired.
Button.
He was
What does that mean?
So as an employee, you have to go in and manually add their subscription button.
Okay.
And so I had to coordinate with him and give him his button, and I just you never forget it.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like, he was so excited. He was like, I can't thank you enough. It was just a very emotional moment for me.
That's awesome.
And him.
Oftentimes you
guess.
think about what it means for the streamer, but
Yeah.
the
was
employees,
both.
everyone has a partner manager, and for the partner manager, it's very special as well.
We get to share that enjoyment. When everyone gets their button, it's exciting. Everyone
Nice.
loves that moment. And
I can't
to
wait for my
share that-
button.
Yeah, we'll see.
He doesn't
We'll
believe
see.
in me.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for visiting our new channel, you guys. Give us a quick follow in the upper left. Shoot, I think you were right.
There we
that
go.
way. And you'll get a notification when we go live, as well
right.
as some swanky emotes of me and Malik's face.
That's right. That's right. Be sure to check those out. And be sure to check out our next episode of Tips and Tricks next and every single Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. That threw me off.
And our sister show, This Week in Esports, every Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern also.
We'll be right here on mixer.com/tips and tricks. Also, be sure to check out the Halo broadcast going on right now on mixer.com/Halo, which goes over Halo esports details for the next year.
Ooh, so
Yeah.
nice.
We got a raid?
We're going to raid.
We got a raid.
Second week
All
in a row. Here we go.
All right, guys. All right, what is this guy? Empty Bacon. So as you guys know, if you're new to Mixer, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. We love to raid here. We love to join in coming together as a community and destroying someone else's chat. So what we want to do right now is raid this guy. Where is it at? Empty Bacon. Mixer.com/Empty Bacon. Even if you go in for a second, we'd love to see you guys over there. Let's give him
Show some love.
Yeah, hashtag Tips and Tricks raid. Is that our
Yeah, that's it.
TNT raid?
TNT raid. Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
TNT. And use our emotes. Just go in and tell him.
Spam the emotes and rate them. Come on, guys. That's what Mixer's all about, right? That's what we do.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in there right now, baby.
And I would, but my computer's dead. So
Well, I'll do it for both of us.
thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm going to do it right now. Everyone get over there, hype it up.
There you
Let's
go.
see his chat explode.
I would love to see that. Guys, go ahead. Is it in chat, the link?
Yes.
Links in chat.
TNT.
Sweet. There we go. There we go.
raid.
It's
Yeah.
flying. It's flying.
There it is.
TNT raid.
Look at that.
What is that? Is that a wolf?
I can't tell if he's
fox?
freaking out or not because of the...
That's true.
I think it's a Shiba Inu.
Can we get audio?
I think it's a Shiba Inu.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
He
Nice.
looks.
I think
very
he's playing
happy.
Pokemon Snap. That is awesome. That is awesome. I love that game.
I love to see this TNT raid in chat.
This is awesome. Thank you guys so much for heading on over there. Again, we will be back next week. Same
Yeah.
time, same place.
Thank you for joining us on this awesome episode of Tips and Tricks. And yeah, we'll see you next week,
Next
as
week.
you just said. Peace, guys.